Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whichever it is to you. Good day to you. And pete wash day. I hope that today finds you and your family well. My name is Ketuk. The name of the podcast is Catch It, A New Perception. There's many different ways that we can perceive many different things in our lives. How do we want to move forward? How do we want to treat others? What do we want to show others? It may be important that we show them and not tell them. We can say it all day long. I think what people see is going to be much more impactful than what they hear. So I had the privilege of having a few kids before I got married to my wife. And I met my wife a few years before we had gotten married. So we've only been married for a little over 20 years. And I say only because I believe that I would like it to last much longer. And it's kind of like when I talk about beginning to change my life just over 33 years ago. I hope that I'm at the beginning of that also. So it's only been 20 years plus. And she had a young son when we met. I had a few young children when we met. And I attempted to do something with my children. I think the way that I was taught. I would ask them to clean up their room. Maybe start to help them so that they could do it. And my wife would follow her son at the time. He would walk into the other room. She'd pick all the toys up and she'd set them where they need to be. And he would leave his bedroom. She would go in there and pick up all those toys and put them in the toy box and put things away. And he would be back out in the living room playing with other stuff. And I didn't understand. What I understand today or how I understand it just didn't make any sense to me. Why would you just pick up after him? Well, I noticed by the time he was a teenager, he didn't care much for living in a mess, so he always had to pick up after himself because he was used to things being clean. I don't think that when my children were young and I was taking a different approach that they received the same thing. Here's the difference in the way that I see it today. The difference in what she was doing and the difference in what I was doing is she was showing him, not telling him. I believe in the power of this. I didn't see it in this instance. So, I think it's important as I move forward through life that what I do is going to be by far more impactful than what it is I say. If I tell someone to not do something and then I do it, it won't do them any good in learning something. When I ask them to do as I'm doing, and then show them what it is I'm doing, that may have a more lasting impact. And the reason I say this and talk about it in this fashion today is because I believe that what we're showing the next generation and the generation that come after them And maybe the generation that came before us, maybe showing our parents we're something different than what they once saw. We're showing them something different so they can believe in us. It's hard to believe what people say. I am not implying that everyone lies, because many of us do not outright lie. I get it. Some people do. What I'm saying is, when I do something, it's easier for someone to watch that and believe what I'm doing versus hearing that I do something and then believe that I do that every day. Most people don't see me do prayer each day because to Kashila and I, it's private between the Creator and I. So it's just part of what I do. I ask for guidance each morning throughout my day at different times, many different times throughout the day. People don't see that because it's private. What people do see is that I get up, I do yoga, I do meditation. People in our home, people that come visit us, people that live with us, see that. That they can believe. That they know to be fact. It's what they see that they know to be fact. So, when we're trying to teach the next generation something, what we show them will have a huge impact. What we tell them will have more of an impact when it's followed by action. I think accepting who we are and what we do on a daily basis is really important. If you're one who struggles with accepting the actions that you're taking, accepting the actions of other people, it may be time for you to be able to turn that over or to let go of it. For a lot of us, people I've worked with, people that have come before me that I've worked with, people that have come after me I've worked with, for a lot of us, that means through letting go, through acceptance, which could be one and the same, it has to do with connection with the Creator. Allowing God into our lives, that spirit, whatever that is, that mystery, whatever that looks like to you. By allowing that power or that energy into your life, into your heart, you may learn to accept people for the way they are. You may learn to accept yourself for the way you are. Something really critical about accepting myself for the way I am that I found decades ago. This was gifted to me. He says you can't use it for an excuse to stay sick. So, in other words, what I was being told at the time was that if I can change it, make the changes. Don't say, oh, this is just the way I am. So I now have an excuse to not change something because it's just the way I am. When I say, accept the way that you are, being two-spirited, being heterosexual, being who you are, your ethnicity, your background, your parents. Those are some things that you can't change. You can't change your parents or your children. You may be able to influence them. The change will be of their own making when they decide with the Creator that they're ready to make those changes. So there are certain things about me that I can't change. My ethnicity, my past. I can't change anything in my past. I can change something right now and influence the future by making the changes right now that I need to make. So if I'm walking with a good heart today, and I am a good relative today, that means I have a really good chance tomorrow and in the future of being a good relative and walking with a good heart. If I am destructive to myself and the people around me, I am destructive to the earth. I believe in Mother Earth. So I need to not be destructive to her in my beliefs, in the way that I walk with a good heart. So if I am destructive to her or to other people or to myself today, the future doesn't quite look the same as when I walk as a good relative today. Willing to share a meal with someone. Literally share my food with someone who wants it or needs it. One of the greatest gifts you can give is when you give a gift to someone who wants it and needs it. At times in my life, I've felt like that was some food that I have shared, some resources I have shared. That gift will be greatly accepted and appreciated when it is wanted and needed. We all have our own journey. We will all meet the Creator in our own time. We will all have ease or difficulties along the way, sometimes dictated by our perception. What one person goes through, another person goes through the exact same thing, and there's so much pain for the one. And there's so much freedom for the other. I was recently just talking about getting caught up at a young age, started out smoking weed, it progressed into an addiction with many different things, going many different directions. And some people would talk about going into treatment as a horrible experience. I can't believe they want me to quit drinking for 28 days, and then they're going to want me to do something after the fact, like outpatient treatment or whatever, and it's just horrible. I can't believe that they would want me to not drink for this long. Someone else walks in and feels all the stress of the day go away because they walked into treatment. And they have nothing to worry about today because they know they're going to take their last breath of the day when they're awake, and it's going to be sober. The first breath that they take when they wake up tomorrow is going to be sober. And they're good with it. And then you have a third who has some disdain going into it. Difficulties, don't care for it. But we need to satisfy the court, so we'll do what we need to do so we can get back out there and get loaded as quickly as possible. It's all good. And years later, decades later, an individual may walk up to someone that was in line with the courts, that helped them get into treatment the first time, and thank them. Because a number of years earlier, before they were equipped with what they're equipped with today, they attempted to take their own life. And through that process of no longer wanting to live life, realized there was a way out. Because they went into treatment once. And if they first removed all this stuff, maybe there would be something on the other side. 3 different perceptions out of 3 different people, the exact same situation. There are many different examples we can use like this. What is it that you're walking into today? What is it that you're walking through today? What is it you're walking with today? Is it time to let go? Is it time to accept? Is it time to be able to see it different? You cannot change your past, so we accept our past for what it is in having done the best we could. The future will be changed by what we do today. Let's walk towards the light. Walk with a good heart. Be a good relative. Live in harmony with and use the bounty of the land to bring kindness to the world. Dok Shao, okay.